Okay, so I'm at the top of Tibidabo in Barcelona, a very tall mountain with a church up here. And then also behind me is the Sagrada Familia. So right now you're hearing the audio on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and now you're hearing the mic quality on the Magic 6 Pro, and you're also seeing the selfie video quality on both devices. Let me know which one looks the best to you. Now let's take some photos. Now these are definitely not the best selfies that I've ever taken, but that's why they're a good test, because we can judge this one on which one makes me look a little less shit. Okay, so here's my observations. The Honor Magic 6 Pro uses a wider angle lens, which is always nice to have on a selfie camera because you can get more people in the shot. The skin tones on the Honor photo seem to be more accurate to me. And I don't know why Apple seems to have this obsession for making people's faces red. And it's something that I've noticed over the years on pretty much all of their phones. But what I do like about the iPhone picture is the details and the sharpness. It's definitely intentional, and it does look good in this photo. The softer background on the Honor Magic 6 Pro also looks intentional, and I do believe this might be a genuine shallow depth of field created by the 50 megapixel sensor combined with the time of flight sensor that it has. Anyway, I like the Honor picture here, but I do like the details on the iPhone. Which one do you like? Okay, let's do a telephoto test to see which one looks better at slightly longer focal lengths. So this is the church at the top of Tibidabo. You'll probably notice the Magic 6 Pro punches in quite a bit more than the iPhone, and this is due to the glass that it uses and also the image sensor within what Honor calls this Falcon camera system. Anyway, the clear difference between them at 1x is the Honor Magic 6 lifts up the shadows and brightens the image quite a bit, and it also appears to have added some extra color saturation, and you can see that pretty clearly right here on this guy. The iPhone is actually doing a lot less post-processing in comparison, and it offers a more contrasty picture with definitely a bit more of a green hue, and it's really not boosting that brightness very much. Okay, so here's the 2x zoom from the same spot, and it's pretty impressive on both phones, and you'll notice the same color themes running across the lenses, which is nice to see. You got that more contrasty look on the iPhone, and then that brighter image on the Honor Magic. Let's see how it looks at 3x. Okay, so as far as telephoto zooms go, at these shorter distances, both phones are very, very good. The lifting of the shadows on the Honor Magic 6 does work well, and it makes the image more eye-catching. However, that may be at the cost of losing some details in the brighter areas of the photos, aka the highlights. But both look good to me. Very different creative styles, but equally impressive. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. And now let's take this zoom test to the extreme. You ready for this? Okay, in order to make this a fair fight, I've stopped this here at 25x. And honestly, you probably wouldn't want to be ordering canvas prints of either one of these photos, because when you go that far, things start to get a bit hazy. But the fact that you can even see the Sagrada from here at this level of detail from all the way at the top of Tibidabo is pretty damn impressive. Anyway, generally speaking, at a glance, you may lean towards the Honor. However, when you begin to inspect the details, you'll notice the Honor Magic AI seems to be doing a lot of smoothing in places where there should be detail, and the iPhone doesn't do this quite as much. So I think at 25x, this may be a win for the iPhone. And I already know what you're going to say. The Honor Magic 6 Pro can go much further than this, and if you want to see how far it can go from this same spot, I did make a short on YouTube where you can see his full range, and of course at that 100x range the iPhone can't compete at all. So anyway, now let's do a video stability test. Okay, so here's a stabilization test for you with the iPhone whilst I'm sliding down the side of Mount Tibidabo. There is no footpath other than this, and it's all downhill, very steep. Anyway, let's switch to the Honor Magic 6 Pro. I'm not going down there, going round. Let me know how this stabilization is comparing to the iPhone. Also, you get a good idea of the mics again and how the two mics differ while shooting with the rear camera. It's like a BMX course here or something. Alright, so all of this hiking down the side of Mount Tibidabo made me hungry. So here are some food photos, a quintessential part of any camera comparison in my opinion. And I can't lie, this is the greatest chicken of all time. Quite possibly the best you can find in Barcelona. And both phones do make the chicken look good, but what's interesting here is this time around the iPhone is lifting up the shadows in post-processing, and the Honor is keeping things a little bit darker, and this could be down to the camera AIs recognizing this food photo and processing it in different ways. So the Honor is keeping things a little bit darker, but I like how it's really nailed the focus and sharpened it up, and it's really offering these great crispier details just in general. The iPhone is definitely looking a bit softer, so I think it's a clear winner here for me. It's got to be the Honor. And here's a macro shot, and really this should be just based off of the details, but both phones have incredible details. The more natural colors here are on the iPhone, and the Honor is definitely delivering a more saturated image, and it's a really tough one to choose, but I think maybe the more natural colors on the iPhone takes the win here. Let me know if you disagree. Okay, so remember how I said the iPhone was lifting the shadows? Well, here's another example of that. Also, the iPhone seems to be doing some white balance adjustments here, and you'll notice that on the plate. See how white it is in comparison to the Honor photo? And in doing this white balance adjustment, it's also color correcting the cake and making it appear as it would if there was a bright white light shining on it. But the reality is, in the restaurant, they had more of an ambient orange lighting going on. So what you're seeing here in these two photos is a more natural look on the Honor image, more true to life in terms of what the lighting was like in the room, and a more AI enhanced image on the iPhone, which also looks really good. So this one's really in the eye of the beholder. What do you prefer, the natural look or the AI look? Let me know. All right, now let's dive into some psychedelic Gaudi architecture at the Casa Batlló, and then we'll get into everybody's favorite section, the night photography. So this is the primary camera. Both deliver a very respectable photo. Now let's see the same photo from the same spot taken on the ultra wide, and the lighting conditions were very overcast, and you can see that here, and you'll notice the field of view is wider here on the Honor, and the colors also vary quite a bit. You got warmer tones here on the Honor Magic 6, which I do believe is more true to life, and that's not just coming from me saying that. I actually did show this photo to somebody else to get a second opinion. The iPhone's adding in a bit too much blue and green tones into the mix, but still looks pretty good. And now let's do a little zoom in into part of this image so we can sort of judge which one delivers better details on the ultra wide. Now listen, I'm going to run through the next few photos and let you guys be the judge of those, and I want you to keep an eye on three things: the white balance, the details, and the shadows. Okay, so I just want to pause here for a second because there's some pretty big differences between these portrait modes taken on the rear cameras. And if you look closely, you can see a real difference in the details of my face. And on this one, I do believe it's another big win for the Honor. But let's not get ahead of ourselves when it comes to portrait mode, because you need to see this next one. So this is a selfie portrait, and the first thing I thought was, okay, this is another win for the Honor, until I noticed this. Something definitely went a bit haywire with Honor's AI. Maybe my skin color matched the curtains a bit too closely or something. I don't know. And because portrait mode really depends on edge detection, you got to give the win here to the iPhone. But I just don't understand why my face is so red in this photo again. And what's that I hear you say? It's probably because you drink too much. And to that I say, I've got no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, here's a few more photos taken from the Casa Batlló rooftop bar. Okay, so this is a good test of lower light photography, and honestly both phones do really well. There's a few differences but very subtle ones. For example, the color tones being warmer on the Honor Magic 6 Pro. The iPhone in this photo is doing some sky recognition here, and it seems to be adding this kind of twilight dark blue color to it, which I must admit looks nice. But let's zoom into that dodgy looking dude at the center of this photo. It looks like he's just spray painted the walls or something, and let me know which one's delivered better details in this photo. Okay, so you know I like a bit of street graffiti, and this just looked epic, so I had to snap a photo of it for you guys. Now I'm just going to say it, I like the darker and more contrasty image on the Honor Magic 6. The colors pop quite a bit more, and overall it just looks more pleasing to the eye without needing any extra adjustments. The iPhone, however, seems to be a bit more true to life because the colors were quite faded by the Barcelona sun, presumably. But I think the mistake the iPhone might be making is trying to lift up those shadows again a bit too much, and it's quite possibly using a higher ISO than the Honor to brighten the image up as well. And typically when you do that, you start to see things like the sky going orange like it is in this photo, and a bit more pixelation. But a lot of phones have AI to smooth out the pixelated areas now, so that's probably happening on the iPhone photo there as well. And this photo right here is quite boring, but very interesting in terms of the color tones. Remember that plate with the cake on it and the white balance, and how the iPhone corrected it and it made the cake look better? Well, the iPhone's doing the same thing here, and I do think it works better on this one. The actual streetlights were very orange, just like you see on the Honor photo, but as you can see, it doesn't look quite as nice. Now listen guys, don't judge me, but all this walking around Barcelona made me very hungry. So what better fast food to get when in Spain than a German hot dog? Man, these things were so good I had to get 2 of them. Anyway, which one looks tastier to you? Let me know in the comments below. And in this photo, I'm looking at my watch because you know what time it is. It's time to hit the subscribe and like this video. If you did like this video, that is. And I was also trying to figure out how long it would take me to get back to Casa Batlló to take these photos, which I somehow managed to delete off the iPhone because these photos look so good and they would have been perfect for this night camera comparison. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching this one. And you should know I just got my hands on the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, which is basically a camera with a phone attached to it. Let me know if you want to see another camera comparison with that phone and what you'd like to see it against. And if you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.